So it says live. Are we live?
Not yet.
Okay.
To see my hair, I ain't had a haircut. See, it's still,
Hey,
I still grow hair, right? So I'm thinking about doing something freaky deaky up on the top and trim the sides down.
All right.
Aging is just a number, baby.
You're live.
we're live.
Yep.
All right. Hello, Next Opportunity Social. JuJuan Buford here with my esteemed partner, Miss Rachele Wilson. She's going to be there. She is. There we go. Definitely excited to be here with the co-owner of Hot Sam's here, Mr. Tony Stovall, business icon, civic leader. Um, Man, I can go on and on. Avant-garde, spiritual advocate. This gentleman is absolutely incredible. We are blessed and fortunate to have them. Thank you, Mr. Tony Stovall, for having an audience with us and with Next Opportunity Social.
Well, first, I'm honored to be interviewed by two talented young people.
Yeah.
The somewhat accolades you give me, I don't think I'm worthy of. I think all I am is a product of this country.
Mm.
I think I'm a product of struggling, poor, welfare parents.
Mm.
That's what I'm a product of. I think it's up to you if you what you want to do with your life.
Yes.
My father raised me to be truthful. My father raised me man to man. Look at any man,
Mhm.
any man. Shake their hand with a firm handshake. Look them eye to eye. No man is greater than you.
Mm.
Respect all people. Truth will set you free.
I love it.
Someone much higher than my father said that, but my father in heaven said that the truth will set you free. So here we are.
Yes.
Black lives matter. Black business matters. This interview matters because now the young people, the young folks would lead the charge.
Yes.
So I'm excited. I'm honored to be interviewed with you, this lovely lady.
Phenomenal. So, for those who may not be acquainted with you,
Mhm,
talk to us a little bit. Obviously, we celebrate entrepreneurship.
mhm.
And so, one of the first questions we ask all our guests is, when did you fall in love with entrepreneurship? When did you decide that this was going to be your path or your journey?
Before I knew,
Mm.
I think my father knew. Because coming off the east side of Detroit, my father took me to all the local black-owned businesses back in the day.
Yes.
Barbershop, restaurant, gas stations. And I didn't understand why my father was taking me to meet these strong black men who
Mhm.
had their own businesses back in 64, 65. And the seed hit me as I started working at Hot Sam's in 1974 of working for oneself.
Mm.
Working for oneself. Because he showed me, our history shows us, we can go back as 1901, we invented hair products.
Right.
Madam Walker was the first millionaire, female, black or white.
Hmm.
We forget who we come from.
Yeah.
We come from greatness. So when someone asks me about uh, what are you going to do when things get bad? Well, it's always been bad for black people. All
Hmm.
that means to me is work harder.
Yep.
Losing is not an option. Quitting is not an option for black people. Our history shows that. Hot Sam's, I happened to start working here as a young fella in 1974.
Okay.
As you can tell, I spoke quite a bit. So after a year or two, I became the top salesman in that store. I also became the assistant manager in that store. I became the first black buyer in that store.
Mm.
So I want to tell all young people, you can do or be anything you want to do. Haters gonna do what they want to do. They're gonna tell you what you can't do. Because on this journey from working there in 74, end up buying it, become owner
Hmm.
in 1994, there were many said what me and my partner, Mr. Green, would never do. But
Hmm.
here we are today,
Mm.
2020, soon celebrating 100 years in business.
Yes.
Now, me and Mr. Green pretty good,
Hmm.
but God is greater. So when you gave me these accolades, I just try to be truthful.
Yes.
That it's a blessing that one is greater,
Hmm.
that we can lean on in times such as this, with all the pandemic,
Hmm.
with all the Black Lives Matter, all the protesting.
Yes.
There's one way. It's his way. Right is still right.
Hmm.
Wrong is still wrong, even in 2020.
Yes, sir. So, for those who may not have an appreciation for the history, right? That was a big deal, you acquiring his business, right? That just didn't happen every single day.
No, it doesn't.
There wasn't always an African American presence downtown Detroit, especially as business owners. I mean, relatively speaking, it's only recent that we were even able to walk freely downtown Detroit. talk to us. I mean, what did that process look like, right? When the seed was planted, when the seed was planted for you to say, you know what, I am going to acquire this store and we're going to own this store. What did that process look like? How did the conversation go? What was going through your mind?
Now, Juwan, this is where once again I wear many hats.
Yeah.
This is when my spiritual hat comes on again.
Okay.
Because, and I share this story with people. I worked at Hot Sam's from 74 to 94.
Mm-hmm.
And because I was starting to go to church and I was starting to become stronger in my faith.
Mm.
And my favorite scripture is Philippians 4:13. We can do all things through Christ who strengthens us. All things. So that is my paraphrase. And it just glooms in my body, and it should for all of us, that if we would humble ourselves first and give God his due, he'll bless you with everything you do. At the same time that me and my partner were in the process of buying Hot Sam's in 94, I also led a capital campaign in my church where we raised over $1 million, where I'd never raised $1 million in my life. But through him, we could do all things. So I'm sharing with we were able to do that for the church, meaning the Lord's work, also to be able to fulfill a dream, to own a business you once worked at. Often you don't hear that story. Sure, it's a great story. Often you hear that African Americans are being used, manipulated. Not this case. I shared with the owners fairly. I'm ready to leave, start my own business. They asked me. The Jewish owners asked me, Mr. Stovall, would you consider buying Hot Sam's? Because they knew I had value. Black people, you have value. They knew if I left, I'm the number one salesman, number one marketing person. I'm now I get a percentage of ownership of the store. I'm the manager. I'm the one making things jump. You understand what I'm saying? And we have value. We live in the city that's 85% African American. Black people should have a value, and where they're the majority.
Right.
In this town, makes no sense to me. Not like I'm any greater than anybody else, but that here we are the majority, and we act like the minority. My father raised me to treat everyone equal. So they were equal. They respected me. They came to me and asked me, what would I consider buying Hot Sam's? I told them, I don't know. My next move, I went to church, talked to my pastor. We prayed about it. So I say these things, and we can do anything.
Yes.
Don't be afraid. Black lives.
So there is another follow-up question I want to ask, but
Sure.
we take that, maybe there's a part two to this, because oftentimes we hear about business acquisition, right? And business succession planning. And there becomes a question, well, what does that look like, right? For someone who's never acquired a business, like how do you prepare yourself for the purchase? What does a business succession planning look like on the person who's selling the business? What does things look like on that side? What type of arrangements typically need to be made to make that process work? But that's something I'd be very interested in hearing more about.
Well, I don't know. It's almost like marriage. I don't know when there's this quote unquote perfect time where the stars lined up. This is time to get married. Or the stars lined up. This is the time to buy a business and move forward. I don't know if I believe that. I do believe there should be something in you. And I'm being honest when I tell you this. I was the former president and founder of Detroit Black Chamber of Commerce. So this is my mantra. I really want to help other Black businesses to know how to run a business. You got to have the passion for whatever you do. I've been doing this for over 50 years, and it's because I love what I do. During the pandemic, I was shut down myself. I take it personally. Shut down for 3 months, sitting in my house and not doing my business, creating things. And my wife had to talk to me, calm down. So me and my daughter, who will be my one of the successors of Hot Sam's, as you talk about succession plan. When we grew up, I'm deviating somewhat. When we grew up, there were white stores everywhere, right? And there were white kids running around. They will eventually take over the store. That's what I want for my family. And that's the way it will be. You can govern your future on what you want to do. But in entrepreneurship, here's a key few words I'm going to tell you. It's hard work, hard work, hard work, and more hard work. It may appear to be glamorous, but it's hard work, commitment, compassion, and passion for what you do. And we must remember, when you're in a retail business, you must remember the customer is still king.
I love it. With that being said,
Mhm.
obviously there had to have been some growing pains once you acquired the business. Of course, you have the doubters, the haters, the naysayers, all that fun
Right.
stuff, right?
Right.
They seemed louder than anyone else in the beginning
Mhm.
until you quiet them down a little bit, which is success, right?
Well, you know, it's funny you ask that.
Yeah.
Uh, Let me tell you how you really quiet them down.
Mm.
And you're right. We had lots of haters, lots of people that look like me and you
Mm-hmm.
of advice,
Mm.
but no money.
Mm-hmm.
Advice, but no money. Many told me and my partner to change the name. It should be Tony's and Clips. It should be the fellas, all these names,
Oh
right?
my goodness.
And you must remember, sometimes there's someone that's in charge. I'm the
Mm-hmm.
CEO of my company.
Mm-hmm.
My partner allows me, and he takes care of the finance, that I'm the face. So that when I say I may really mean us.
Mm-hmm.
But because I have the courage, and God gave me the courage, you must be able to speak truth to people.
Mm.
Whoever there is. When we were first going to purchase Hot Sam, you're so excited as a first business owner, right? That the first money that they give you, I accept it, pending, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then, as I'm going through this process of buying my business, I find another entity that will give me the same money for a low interest rate. See, business is business. You
Mm-hmm.
can be excited. A lot of us get into retail business because one, we're creative, we
Mm-hmm.
got this creative juice, but you better have a business acumen about you to succeed.
Yeah.
So when you ask me, are there challenges? Always, because you got these other entities in your business. They're like the quiet ones, taxes, taxes, lease agreements,
Mm-hmm.
uh, paying all the bills, vendors,
Mm-hmm.
employees,
Mm-hmm.
taxes,
Mm-hmm.
tax, city
Mm-hmm.
tax, government tax, sales tax, employee unemployment tax, that you don't think about when you're a salesperson
Right.
and you're getting a salary. But when you become the owner, all of those become part of your responsibility. I also have 10 employees.
Mm-hmm.
That means I'm responsible for 10 families.
Mm.
There are times, like you said, up and down, I didn't get paid. So I had to make sure I took care of my employees.
Yeah.
Because if you have good employees, they can make my job and any owner's job
Mm-hmm.
easy. And it's important that we understand that. Sometimes we get in this ownership position and we forget whence we come.
Mm.
It's your team that makes it work. Teamwork makes the dream work.
Yes.
I don't really work or perceive to others look like I work too much.
Mm.
Well, selling clothes is something I like to do.
Mm-hmm.
So I smile when I do it. I try to be an example. So I try to be neat myself. So it takes care of a little edge. At least you look like what you're saying you're doing. If
Mm-hmm.
you're a mechanic and you and I go to you, you better have some automotive skill.
Mm-hmm.
The fireman come to my house, need a fireman uniform on, so I know he's going to put out the fire.
Right.
So I believe that if you're in the retail business selling clothes, I would think you would wear nice clothes.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of us get in this position of ownership and take it for granted and just forget about whence we come.
Right.
And we must remember that.
I love it. What are some tough lessons?
Tough lessons.
Tough lessons that you've had to learn along the way that you want other entrepreneurs to be aware that look, you need to be aware these things
Okay.
are going to happen and you have to be able to overcome
I'm gonna try to put this because I've had a great journey.
them. Mm-hmm.
I want you to know that I've been in the presence of great people in my lifetime,
Mm-hmm.
and often you get a lot of counsel from people that have less than you.
Mm.
I was blessed with the fact when me and Mr. Green bought Hot Sam's in March 18th, 1994, right?
Mm-hmm.
Probably about March 20th, meaning 2 days later after we purchased the store, because we were on the front page of the paper and we did all this stuff.
Yeah.
I got a million calls, million advice. I had a gentleman that now was passed with that I truly respect and honor.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Swanson,
Okay.
O'Neill Swanson,
Mm-hmm.
self-made millionaire.
Mm-hmm.
Called me, did not know this gentleman at the time, heard about him. And he said, I want to come down and talk to you. If you guys got time?
Mm.
So he comes down to the shore and shares with me. I want you to know first, most of your advice is people that got less than you have,
Mm-hmm.
got giving you advice on how to be rich.
Mm-hmm.
And they might be broke.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm only telling you the comparison. This is a self-made millionaire, very successful. So he's giving me advice into trust the Lord always
Mm.
and beware of all people.
Mm.
But trust the Lord always. This is the advice he gave me. And to go with his advice, he has a staff of 20 employees.
Mm-hmm.
he purchased 2 suits for each one of them. So that means he bought 40 suits from me to show me he wanted to support my business, not just talk about what I can do. Here's the advice on what you can do, and I'm gonna show you my support, and did that. So in the Black community, when you get a legend like Mr. Swanson to come give you advice, it gives you a stronger platform. Because sometimes on this journey, it gets rough. And you be saying, what is it worth? I don't need all this. Because when I was working for Hot Sam's, I got a nice paycheck, I got my check, and I went home. When you become the owner, you got to deal with everything, those bills, those taxes, no other responsibilities I share with you.
Yeah.
But Mr. Swanson's words of wisdom gave me strength. That'll be better. And quitting is not an option. And losing is not an option. I'd say.
100%. Got it. So you weather a lot of storms down here, particularly downtown, right? People have not necessarily fared well down here all the time. What's been the separator? What are some decisions you've made? What are some of the things that allowed you to have staying power when you know some of the businesses without me even mentioning them, packed up and left and gone about their business?
Well, when Hot Sam's was at 1317 Brush, that's where it started, 1921. And I started working there in 74. We bought it in 94. We had a lease with option to buy it. So after that 10-year premise where we had an option to buy, we had no idea the owner would be so obstinate on his price. So therefore we had to look for a new location, right? So Northland called me, who you now know is out of business. Eastland called, who are soon out of business. Other malls, which are outside Detroit. We wanted to remain in Detroit. And we came up with a slogan, never left and never will. Meaning Hot Sam will never leave the people of Detroit. Not now, not ever. So we end up talking to Peter Carmanos, the owner of the location we're in now, that particular time. When we talked about getting the spot, we had to have a key spot. We had to be on the corner. And we've been here. And what we need to do as entrepreneurs, you've got to be able to talk to your landlord. There are a couple of things that can close your doors. And because I went to school to be an electrical engineer, you got to look at how you solve and resolve your biggest key issues. Okay, taxes, you don't pay them, they can close your door. Don't pay your rent, close your door. So you need to have a good relationship. One, taking care of your taxes, staying abreast of their payment plan, do it with your landlord. You need to have a good agreement with him. If your lease or rent will be late, talk to them. Be engaged with what's going on. If you don't, you could be the accident that happens when you look and see, not knowing your name, whoever you may be. This business, boom, boom, address 127 Monroe, didn't pay taxes, didn't pay rent, boom, 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 keep doing it. And after a year, they're going to put you out.
Right.
That's business. So therefore, it's important that you have a relationship with all of those entities that can close your doors.
Right.
The rest is customer service, quality of merchandise, and the service you provide for your customers. But you have to take care of these main essentials. Because if I got a place to be, I'm going to make that work. Then you look at whatever it costs you to be here per month, right? The key to business, keep your overhead down so your overhead will be great, meaning your profit. But you must maintain, and you got to be able to say, can I handle, let's say your rent is $1,000 a month. Can I handle that if nobody comes to the door? Or one person? You have to be able to come up with these metrics so you can meet the needs of your essentials. Essential workers, Black business, essential workers. Because small business makes this country run. Black people, if we ever came together, spent our wealth that we spent, which would be the wealth of African Americans spent, would be equivalent to the 7th largest nation in the world. So if we would spend money with each other, Black lives matter. And so does Black business. If Black people support each other, we wouldn't have to ask anyone for anything.
I love it. You touched on something earlier that caught my attention. I think it's an error in judgment. I know that I personally made, I'm more than willing to admit it, that I know a lot of entrepreneurs make. You have your first $500 a day, first $2,000 a day, first $30,000 a day. Right. And your business overhead may be low, but your personal overhead, right? aside from that error and judgment, which I know you touched on, you probably have plenty to say about that.
Yes, sir.
What are some other incorrect notions that people have about entrepreneurship and lifestyle and what's really required?
Well, the essentials, like I said earlier, hard work, hard work, hard work. There are times between me and my partner, both our wives thought we were crazy.
Mm.
When you're gonna work, you're gonna work a place where you say you own, but you can't get a paycheck, because we thought it was more responsible that we took care of our employees, and we looked at the long run and the future, and something we believed in. And even during the pandemic, this is what I'm saying is miraculous about being in business. These times, true, are challenging, but they can be so rewarding if you just push and go forward.
Yes.
Don't quit. Push, go, press on beyond the mark. Christ Jesus. And you'll see. I'm serious.
Yeah.
It's a time for Black people to rise up and be counted and be respected. This marches, these protests are life-changing moments in life.
Yes.
Life-changing. We can take this and jump from the civil rights movement to this movement, because now you have Blacks, whites, Arabs, Indians, every nationality, young, old, red, white, we're all together on Black Lives Matter. Police brutality should not be tolerated. These are just facts of life. Right is still right. Wrong is still wrong.
Heard that. So with the backdrop of the protest, right, and everything that entails, what I've thought about personally that really concerns me right now is, as a former investment advisor, I used to tell people money doesn't disappear, it just changes hands, right? And there's a lot of development taking place, despite the pain and hardship that's being experienced by households all across the United States and, quite frankly, globally, right? There are people who are still, quote unquote, winning. They're making strides, they're making progress. There are some people who are going to come out of this pandemic stronger than when they came in. And I try to remind people of that. And something that I hear frequently among African-American business owners in particular is, look, we have all this development, we have all this growth, it's beautiful, but we don't feel like we're a part of it. We're not participating. That wealth isn't necessarily either not in position to catch it ourselves, or somehow people feel like they've been systemically cut out of it. How do we correct that? What are your thoughts?
Let me give you a misnomer for some reason. I don't quite understand it. I don't know if why would Black businesses think someone is going to knock on the door and tell you, why don't you get on this board? Or why don't you share your voice and your thoughts with this committee? Or why don't you create your own business platform?
Yep.
Because history, stay what I'm saying, his story is his, of the majority population story.
That's right.
Let's tell our story, the Black story, which is based on truth, and right still right, wrong still wrong. Quit complaining. God give us all a voice. I sit on 4 boards because I wanted to be engaged in the process of what's going on around me. I want to be engaged in the dialogue that affect. I'm on the entertainment commission, the entertainment that our children will see. You understand what I'm saying? And to make sure those in our community are part of that entertainment venture. So therefore, you have to be on some of these boards. Now, I can understand that because I'm on about 4 boards and I'm not getting financially $1,
Right.
zero. I've shared with others that always bring my name up to be on boards. Can you get me on a board that pays? I believe in money now. But what I'm saying, when you have a passion and you have a concern, get involved. Don't just complain.
Right.
You want to be part of the problem or part of the solution? I choose to be part of the solution.
I like it. I like it.
And it's choices we all make.
So
I got another. Look, if you don't want to be an entrepreneur, it's okay. Yep. It's not for everybody. Get a job and make $100,000 a year and get 30-year pension and live on forever. But what we found out in this pandemic,
okay, are you good?
what we found out in this pandemic, I'm standing totally on truth.
Mm-hmm.
Shut down your job.
Mm-hmm.
Shut down shopping.
Mm-hmm.
Shut down the airways. Shut down everything. Sports. Shut it down.
Mm-hmm.
When they shut it down, me and my daughter and my partner, we went in the lab.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning we created and started, what do we need to do when this thing, or why this thing is going on and when it comes out? See, one thing happened with business people, most of us, including myself, you get stuck in doing stuff this particular way because that's the way we always did it. Well, okay, what you gonna do now? This is different now.
Mm-hmm.
We got the web, we got internet,
Mm-hmm.
we got Google, Boogle, Woogle, Google, and everybody you can imagine.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm trying to get prepared for it because my daughter is teaching me,
Mm-hmm.
walking me through the process. But change is constant.
Yeah.
But we want to stay the same. Well, if you do,
Mm.
I'm gonna leave that on you.
Mm.
But it's best to be able to look at what you're in front of you, and we have to adjust sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
But in that adjustment, back to what I've always said, it's hard work, hard work. And if you have a passion for what you're doing
Mm-hmm.
and it serves the needs of the people,
Mm-hmm.
you'll be all right. You'll
It.
be all right.
You went into the lab.
We're in the lab.
I'm hearing faith.
Oh yeah.
I'm hearing it all day, every day.
Yeah, but there's one to go with faith.
Yes.
Faith that our works is dead.
Mm-hmm.
We've been working in the lab.
Mm-hmm.
We are now online.
Mm-hmm.
We're on the so we're reaching global now.
Mm-hmm.
We were online. Now we're online where you can purchase online.
Yes.
Second, we have been interviewed by distinguished people like yourselves
Mm-hmm.
and others that think we have a story to tell.
Mm.
So we're on Facebook, we're on everything you can imagine. We went to these new conference meetings. We're now all on Zoom. So I've been Zooming all over the place. But it's just fun
Yeah.
when you create yourself
Mm-hmm.
and you see the difference. Now with the pandemic, my whole staff has been tested.
Mm.
Everybody's negative. We check you like we check you guys for your temperature when you come in the door. Most of the time, other than right now, we have a mask on
Mm-hmm.
or gloves on.
Mm-hmm.
We also sanitize the place. We had it fumigated. So in the lab, we created what could we create to be a safe environment when we do reopen.
Mm-hmm.
Then while we're closed, we're online. We do now, and this is so beautiful. We do appointments by customers. Right now, today I have 3 customers.
Mm.
Appointments.
Mm-hmm.
One at 12:30, one at 2:30, one at 4.
Mm-hmm.
So these are 3 customers that are coming in to spend money with me.
Mm-hmm.
Versus the walk-in businesses. Now the government has opened the gates for 10 or 20 more people, right? So therefore, we built a new way of operating in business to get an appointments. And sometimes you go to work every day.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know who's coming in.
That's right.
But let's get a couple appointments. We've learned that. So now we do our hardest to find to make appointments, at least 1 or 2 each day,
Yep.
to make sure you know that revenue is coming in. So it's a time we went in the lab and we started reinventing ourselves
Mm-hmm.
and creating ourselves. Because as I told you,
Mm-hmm.
Hot Sam's is 99 years old. We'll soon celebrate 100 years in business. And this is what I tell haters, whoever they may be.
Mm-hmm.
We must be doing something right. 100 years in the deep.
Yes. So I have so much respect for individuals who operate these type of businesses because I realize the million different hats you have to wear. And I think the only business I can think of that is fraught with more challenges is probably opening up a restaurant.
Ooh. I totally agree with
that's
you.
a monster,
I totally agree.
And one of the things is, the public's appetite is so fickle. You have to kind of shift, change. What are some of the habits or what are some of the processes you put in place to help Hot Sam's? I don't like call Hot Sam's a business. I think of it as an institution.
Well, we feel the same.
Yeah.
But what we do different, seriously, that's why I got help. Really, I helped my daughter who graduated of Florida A&M. I have 2 daughters graduated from Florida A&M in marketing and journalism. And I convinced him to come back to Detroit. And all 3 of my daughters have worked there one time or another. But my middle daughter, Lauren, has all these creative ideas. We do events, or we used to do events before they shut down. We have a young local artist playing the piano, playing some music out front. I mean, all these different things to create. See, now in business, you got to create an event. Why just Hot Sam? So therefore, you create something. Then we also make sure we do this. We give back to our community.
Mm.
After we were tested, my staff was tested. Me and my daughter had the same experience. We're so proud to see African Americans running this process, and most of them were black men,
Mm.
which you want. Most people want to demonize as monsters.
Mm-hmm.
So therefore, to see them in a humble position, telling me keep my window up, stay safe, stay in that lane, very nice, compassionately, and then to lead us to the doctors that gave us the test. The service was unbelievable.
Mm.
We may be celebrating because we're all negative as well.
Mm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So we felt, or my daughter felt, and then she felt we should do something. I said, okay, what do you want to do? So we ended up feeding them lunch
Mm.
because I think it's important that we give back to our community. We must celebrate the goodness that we have because we're getting our ass kicked so much.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's imperative that some of us perceive as leaders to lift them up and encourage them
Yeah.
that this too will be okay. And we appreciate you because these new signs you see outside,
Mm-hmm.
heroes here, they're heroes.
Mm-hmm.
You work in a grocery store, you're a hero. I
Yeah.
can't eat if you're not there.
Mm-hmm.
The cashiers, I can't eat if you don't take my money, and they're taking their lives at risk because this pandemic is not over.
Right.
So therefore, we believe totally your safety, our safety is much more important than any sale I can make.
Mm.
Any sale, your safety is much more important. And people see that in us and they respect that. And I think that's another reason we tend to thrive in the midst of chaos.
Mm. I love it. I love it. Um, what do you want the community to know that they may not know about you and Hassan?
I probably still don't want them to know. But no, I'm kind of like an open book. I came from nothing. I was a welfare kid on the east side of Detroit.
Mm.
I had a big mouth, as you can see. I had a passion for dressing.
Mm.
I went to Southeastern High School. I want to give a shout out to the Jungleers, Southeastern High School, my school, East Side. So I want to say that always with passion
Mm-hmm.
because on the East Side, they gave us nothing.
Mm.
Everything we got, you had to earn. Same thing in life. No one gives you anything. You got to earn it. Like I tell my story to a lot of young folks. I do career days in public school,
Mm.
and I tell them my story right. But the key thing that they miss, I tell them, I started working in 1974, bought it in 94. That's 20 years of hard work. When the owner at times wouldn't even speak to me. And I was the number one producer. But I continued because it wasn't about him, it was about me
Mm.
and lifting up what I had to do. So therefore, all these complaints that we make, the boss don't like me and we whine, so what? Get over it.
Yep.
This life was not made to be easy.
Mm.
It actually builds your character to go through stuff like that make you ready when days like you asked me about bad days or challenging days. And now look at my bad days, challenging days.
Mm-hmm.
And you learn from those challenges. The mistake is if you don't learn from it, that's when you're a failure. But we all gonna fall down.
Mm-hmm.
It's about getting up. What did you learn and why I failed? Why did I fall? Why did I fall? And be able to look at yourself. What did I do?
Mm-hmm.
Because you have control over one person, yourself. Others you may impress, but you have control over you.
I love it. So you're a part of a number of these civic organizations. You have a different purview, obviously, than the average citizen. If you had a magic wand, right?
Yeah.
And there were three things that you would change about the current environment for entrepreneurs here in Detroit metropolitan area, not to make things easier because no one's looking for a hand up, but give people a fighting chance, not a handout, but a hand up. What are three things if you could wave a magic wand and say, okay, let's put these three things in place to support entrepreneurship here in Detroit Metro? What are those three things?
I'm gonna be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
You really don't have to wave a magic. Nothing I'm gonna say is like, ooh.
Right.
I'm gonna give you just my 40, 50 years of being in business, 68-year-old African American living in this country. Nothing's easy.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard work, hard work. What do you want to do? Here's my hope. Like I shared with you earlier, Black people have the seventh largest buying power if it were a nation, equal to the seventh largest nation with that revenue. Spend summer with each other. If you spend summer with each other, we'd all do better. The more I have, the more I can give. That's just how it is. You don't have to. If you're broke, I can't give you much. But if we supporting each other and we let other people come
Mm-hmm.
in our community,
Mm-hmm.
and will kill you if you steal a bag of potato chips. Everything I'm telling you is factual.
Mm-hmm.
Gentlemen that didn't look like us killed one of our children because they stole a bag of potato chips.
Mm-hmm.
I would not shoot you for nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing. I'm well insured. You take something, I got insurance.
Right.
It's just business. And I want us to do business as business, meaning dot your I's, cross your T's.
Mm-hmm.
You can't just say you hope.
Mm-hmm.
You have to do business.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you don't pay those taxes, you don't pay your lease agreement, you will be put out. I've learned to be able to negotiate with anyone.
Mm.
And remember when we negotiate what's best for you,
Mm-hmm.
not what someone tells you,
Mm-hmm.
what you can do. You know what you can do,
Mm-hmm.
negotiating your strength. We all have strengths. Use them. Find something you want to do and have a passion for doing it. And we can collectively change the world.
I like it. I like it. I think I already know the answer to this question.
Yeah, no.
But I want to hear it.
What?
Um, what do you believe your competitive advantage is?
Competitive advantage. What is my well, what is it? Man, you got me going up high again. See, I'm just saying, because I've been gifted with favor.
Mm-hmm.
God has gave me favor. I'm not the smartest guy in the world,
Mm-hmm.
but the things I know, I know. The
Mm.
things I know, I have the courage to fight for.
Yes.
I'm not going to fight you with something I don't know.
Mm.
I'm just not. I have no problem saying I don't know. That's where my partner comes in. That's why he's over finance, not
Right.
me. And he allows me to roam and to market and position ourselves where we've been interviewed by like talented people like yourself that you know of the existence of Hot Sam.
Mm-hmm.
We also want to make sure that story stays on forever. But I don't know if I have an advantage of the higher power gave me favor to have courage to speak. But he gives it to all of us
Mm.
if you're listening. Because you're going to bump your head. You're going to make mistakes. And you can't stay there.
Right.
You got to get up. And in getting up, examine yourself first to see what you can do differently to make things better.
Mm.
That's what you have to do.
Okay. I love it. Sage advice. Last two questions where we have a little bit of fun here.
Two more?
That's two. That's two.
Dang, you told me.
Yeah, respectful of your time, man. We know,
Yes,
we know
yes,
what's
sir.
going
Yes,
on
sir.
here.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What is your superpower or what is your spiritual animal?
What is that? The two questions?
One or the other. There's another one found it.
Oh man, this
You
guy
get to
here.
choose.
I just
What's
hope.
your
I hope I.
superpower? What's your
Here's,
spiritual animal?
here's what I hope happens in this interview.
Uh-huh.
I hope I pass the test.
Mm.
The test is to encourage you,
Mm.
all that are listening, to encourage you to get up, because you're gonna fall down.
Mm-hmm.
To get up with all glory, to get up with hope, get up knowing you can get it better. Get up in what you learned while you fell down. Get up. Quitting is not an option. I don't know if you want to call it a superpower, whatever you might want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
But quitting is not an option. We have our children, our future to look for. We got this cliche about that. Children are our future.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if that's the truth, treat them that way. If you love a child, you nurture them. You do not let them raise themselves. You do not. So I'm saying, even in business, when you start a business, first, have the passion for what you're doing. Because you have the passion, it's not like work. And we can change the world once again. Black lives matter. That's the difference.
Mm-hmm.
Black. If you want to know this, what was that question?
Superpower or
Black
spiritual
lives
animal?
matter.
There it is.
That's the superpower.
That's the superpower.
That's the power that has not been unleashed yet.
Yeah.
Black lives matter. Black business matter. As the chairman of the Black Chamber of Commerce, I share this with people
Mm-hmm.
in a business component. These are all business people.
Mm-hmm.
If your business in the black, you're doing good business.
Mm.
Black business matter.
I love it. I love it.
If your business in the red, I mean you're losing.
Mm-hmm.
To be successful, black business.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you. Simple things right in front of us. Yeah.
I love it. I'm going to end here with the last question. Like I said, I think I already know the answer. Um, you've given us so much. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, Claire. Oh shit.
It's all good. Yeah, man. It's all good. We here live, so
We are live.
this is what happens.
We,
What's the number one lesson you want to leave?
number one lesson.
Mm-hmm.
Give your best. So whatever you do, give your best, do your best. And I've shared with young people that come in, want to apply for a job.
Mm-hmm.
We all have one time to make our first impression.
Mm.
Make it your best.
Mm.
I want you to go to that job interview. Look your best, act your best, as if your life depends on it, because it does.
Invaluable. Thank you so very much.
Because it does.
Yes, indeed. And for our next opportunity social family here, or next op social, right? Our next op social family here, please comment, share. You've had audience with a phenomenal business icon, so humble, but we appreciate your example and the contribution you made to the community. And of course, tune in to our next episode next Wednesday, 10 a.m. Oh yeah, we still on.